Please excuse the dark screen. Technical difficulties. Here we go. In the last video, we concluded with a young man had to perform a violin solo at an important local concert. The thought of the audience he had to face made him terribly nervous, and as he went on the platform, he felt like a criminal about to be hung. While the accompanist was playing the introduction to his solo, the young man, who held a position of trust in a business house, suddenly remembered an important letter to which he should have attended before leaving business. As he thought in a flash of the consequences of this neglect, all of his nervousness vanished, and he played with reckless abandon, which brought down the house. I'm Turk Strongman, current resident at Mind Voltage Institute. Before continuing, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please take a moment to do it right now. At the same time, please activate the notification bell feature to be apprised of our new uploads here at Mind Voltage. Please share and like this video, and also make note, if you will, of the donation by PayPal information in the description area, just below your media player window, right here and now. We're continuing our narration of L.W. deLaurance's The Master Key. We're in Unit 3, Chapter 20, Lesson 18, the last of two subsections of Lesson 18. We are at self-consciousness. Let's continue. This incident illustrates the marvelous power of a change of thought. It shows that the ability to turn one's thought into another channel must be a valuable acquirement. It is preeminently the acquirement to aim at for everyone who is self-conscious. It is simply a matter of training and practice in putting resolutely to one side thoughts we do not wish to dwell upon. I'll repeat that. This incident illustrates the marvelous power of a change of thought. It shows one that the ability to turn one's thought into another channel must be a valuable acquirement. It is preeminently the acquirement to aim at for everyone who is self-conscious. It is simply a matter of training and practice in putting resolutely to one side thoughts we do not wish to dwell upon. Exercise number 1 shows you how to proceed, but with this variation, you must put thought after thought to one side until you come to one on which you can build a pleasant and interesting train of thought. If you are self-conscious in the presence of strangers, or in fact anyone, adopt the following plan. Immediately the person is before you. Greet him in a frank, genial manner, and as far as the nature of the occasion permits. While he is talking, take note of his language, that is, how he expresses himself, the nature of his vocabulary, his intonation, pronunciation, etc. Note too his gestures, mannerisms, dress, etc. All this will tend to take your mind off yourself. Next, as you find you are succeeding in gaining command over your feelings, determine that you will influence them. Control your facial muscles so that your body is in perfect poise. Listen carefully to all he says and let him see that you are attentive. While he is speaking, be sure that your mouth is shut closed, yet not so as to interfere with a pleasant facial expression. When you have to speak, look at him steadily in the face, fixing your gaze upon an imaginary dot on his nose. in a direct line with his eyes. This gives the effect of a steady gaze, and yet you avoid looking at the eyes. Blushing, that bugbear of most of those who have not studied mental discipline, but especially of the self-conscious person, can be controlled to a great extent by following the advice given above. When you are inclined to blush on being introduced to a person, remember that the vital point is to think of him or her, not of yourself, or what he may be thinking of you. No. The vital point is to think of him or her, not of yourself or what he might be thinking of you. If you will practice in this way, you will soon find that you can greatly control the habit of blushing. Accidents, mistakes, errors. You're invited to a dinner, and during the meal, you have the misfortune of upset a glass of wine or water over a spotless cloth. Instantly, you're overwhelmed with confusion or shame, and in spite of your host's cheery, "It doesn't matter," the unpleasant incident troubles you for many days. A businessman, in sending out his account, sends in error a sharp letter to one of his best customers. No matter how he manages to smooth over the mistake, it rankles in his mind for weeks and weeks whenever he thinks of or meets this customer. A clerk in a business house makes an error in a contract which costs his firm hundreds of dollars. The firm, knowing him to be a capable man, treats him with great leniency. In spite of this leniency, the memory of his error causes him annoyance for years afterwards. How are we to control the thoughts which accidents, mistakes, and errors, like those above, tended to raise? There is only one thing to do, and that is to never brood over them. Never brood over them. You cannot help these thoughts arising, but you can help dwelling upon them. If you will resolutely refuse to think of them, the law of habit will give you the victory over them. Again, you can't help these thoughts arising, but you can help dwelling on them. Resolutely refuse to do that. You must adopt the same plan in dealing with memories of the past. And thus you suddenly detect the odor of a fine cigar or a certain perfume when out walking. Instantly it recalls an unpleasant incident in your past life in which such odor or perfume played a part. Now you must not dwell on this memory, for if you do, it will grow in intensity until it has got you in its grip. You must follow the advice given above, that being, refuse to think of the incident by instantly turning your mind to some other subject. Remember there again, it does not say that you are to have no thought arise of that incident or whatever's the case. It says instantly turn your mind to some other subject. Like it said earlier, oh, I can't find it now. I'm sorry. Yes, you cannot help these thoughts arising, but you can help dwelling on them. Instantly turn your mind to some other subject. Finally now, adverse criticism. There are few men who can control their thoughts under adverse criticism. Yet it must be done if a man is to succeed. Some people take it so badly that they make themselves ill. They lose heart and abandon their work for a considerable period. Indeed, in some cases, they abandon it altogether. Some commit suicide. What course should be adopted toward adverse criticism? The best plan, undoubtedly, is to turn critic yourself. Take the adverse criticism and criticize it carefully and calmly. For it may have some good points. It may be able to teach you something. It's not advisable, however, to undertake the critical work when you are smarting from the blow dealt by the adverse criticism. Get away from your work for a day or so. Forget it by reading an interesting book or something, a fine play, going off for a trip somewhere. When you feel the pain lessen after this interval, which you are almost bound to do, now go carefully over the criticism and note where it is just and where it isn't. Old Bull, the great violinist, Old Bull, in his early career, saw a severe criticism of his playing. After careful consideration, he went to the publisher of the paper and asked who had written the criticism. If you want the responsible person, if you want the responsible person, the publisher said, it was me. I am he. No, replied Old Bull. I have not come to call the writer to account, but to thank him. He has shown me my faults, and he must now show me how to get rid of myself of them. Well, here we have the spirit of the true artist. The spirit that should animate all under the fire of criticism. If the criticism is just, we're foolish to ignore its lesson. If it is unjust, we are foolish to let it disturb us. Again, if the criticism is just, we are foolish to ignore its lesson. If it be unjust, we're foolish to let it disturb us. That is the conclusion of chapter 20 and also the conclusion of lesson 18, thought control. In the next video, we'll be moving to chapter 21, lesson 19, also called thought control, specifically thought control in public. Again, I'm Turk Stroman, current resident at Mind Voltage Institute. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please take a moment to do it right now. Also, at the same time, activate the notification bell feature to be apprised of our new uploads. Remember to share and like this video. And please make note of the donation by PayPal information in the media, just below your media player window here in the description of this video box. We'll see you next time.